Welcome to Dressage is for everyone, from starting out to winning at novice level with the scale of training. This DVD will help you both improve your horse's athleticism and performance and enjoy to the full the magic of your dance together. Over the next hour, we will explore the scale of training and each of its 6 steps. Rhythm, suppleness, contact, impulsion, straightness, and collection. This will be demonstrated by those new to dressage through to combinations who have successfully competed at preliminary and novice levels. One Pre-St. George horse is also included to demonstrate the higher level work. Dressage is a French word meaning training. The Fédération Équestre Internationale, or FEI, is the international governing body for horse sports. According to the FEI, the scale of training is a well-tested system that has produced Olympians the world over. It is the backbone of every good training session, the guide for the journey from preliminary to Grand Prix, and what judges use to assess horse and rider combinations when out competing at all levels. It develops throughness, that is, the horse accepting and allowing the rider's aids through obediently, without tension or hesitation. Following this system will help you make efficient progress and allow you to work with the horse's natural way of going, resulting in a solid partnership of happy athletes. Following the scale of training, rhythm, suppleness and contact are considered the foundation, the phase of understanding and confidence. They are also the priorities for preliminary and novice level. With a young or inexperienced horse, these may be the focus of the entire training session, indeed sessions for many months. With a more advanced horse, these are the priorities for warm-up and cool-down periods. Together, suppleness, contact, impulsion and straightness add to this foundation the development of the horse's pushing power, its forward thrust and engagement from the hindquarters. Finally, impulsion, straightness and collection together develop the horse's carrying capacity. All of the steps are interdependent, that is, they depend on one another and each should always be seen as part of the whole. Remember that it's not about being perfect, it's about being realistic about where you're at and knowing what the most important areas are for you to focus on to help you improve. Please note that the riders and horses in this production were often asked to deliberately show specific mistakes to help illustrate a point. In each of the following 6 sections, you will find the following subsections: the official FEI definition, how it is performed correctly and incorrectly, some helpful asides, exercises to do at home, and questions to ask yourself. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy. The FEI defines rhythm to be So, to maintain a good rhythm, we must focus on both the regularity, that is correct and even footfalls, and the tempo, or speed, of each gait. The walk has 4 beats. The feet are moved forwards in an alternating diagonal-lateral sequence. For example, right hind, right 4, left hind, left 4. There is no moment of suspension. The trot has 2 beats. The legs are picked up and carried forward in diagonal pairs, with a moment of suspension in between. For example, left 4 and right hind on the ground, all suspended, right 4 and left hind on the ground, and then all suspended again. Canter has 3 beats, with a pause for the moment of suspension. On the right rein, the footfalls for the right canter lead are left hind plus the diagonal pair of right hind and left 4, just the diagonal pair plus the right 4 by itself, and then a moment of suspension. This is reversed, of course, for cantering on the left canter lead. The canter has a rolling feel and is the only pace where the footfalls differ from one side to the other. In all paces, the distance covered and the timing should be regular, maintaining an even drum beat in each gait. The speed of the rhythm or tempo should suit the individual horse, allowing the horse to be balanced, energetic, and to swing through the body. In a dressage test, the rhythm of each individual pace should be the same throughout the whole test. For example, the same working trot both before and after the canter. The horse should feel as if on autopilot, going by themselves. Rhythm faults include, under regularity, the walk becoming lateral, the trot becoming irregular, and the canter becoming 4-beat. Lameness results in irregular movement. Breaking out of the pace is also a regularity fault. For example, a trot step instead of regular walk, or falling out of canter. In addition, shying, bolting, bucking, rearing or tripping result in rhythm faults. If the pace becomes too rushed or too slow for the individual horse, the tempo will suffer. If too rushed, the horse can become tense and flatten out. If too slow, movement will seem laboured and the horse will not be using themselves to the full. Tempo closely relates to impulsion. Let's take a minute to investigate how a horse's go and stop responses affect the rhythm. Take a line marked from 0 to 10. At 0 is neutral. You're moving elastically, in balance with your horse's movement. You're satisfied with how they're going and you're not asking anything of them. 1 and 2 involve focusing your mind on the change coming up. 3 is changing the feel and weight aids in your body. 4 is using a voice aid. Be aware that use of the voice is not allowed in competition dressage tests. 5 using either a light leg aid or a rein aid. And 6 to 10 would be gradually using stronger physical aids. As soon as the horse responds to your aid, totally back off and return to a neutral, balanced, flowing position. The total removal of pressure is their reward. It's a "thank you, yes, that's what I was asking for." You could also vocalise "good boy" or "good girl" and give them a stroke on the neck. For a dramatic training breakthrough, you might also take a short walk break on a long rein. In this way, the horse will learn to go from light aids, thus helping achieve the fluid, harmonious communication that we are all after. It is also worth assessing your horse's percentage try after an aid. Rewarding a 1% try with a young horse, or expecting at least a 50% try with a more educated horse. You might be asking perfectly, but your aids need to result in a change in the horse. The speed with which you go from 0 to 10 is up to you. With a sensitive horse, it may be quite slow. A sluggish horse may need it to be faster. The aim is to spend as much time at or as close to 0 as possible, with maximum athletic performance from your horse. Too much time between 8 and 10 may mean that you and your horse could benefit from revisiting the basics. Go. Soften any stop aids. Think go. Pick the point ahead of where you will go and imagine yourselves already going. Feel more energetic in your body. Click with your tongue. A light feel or tap with your legs. Stronger leg aids. At 10 are the spur or whip aids. If your horse responds suitably from a subtle change in the feel of your body, then there's no need to continue on upwards towards a 10. Go is involved in any upward transition between paces. For example, halt to walk, walk to trot, and trot to canter. And within the paces, for example, working trot to lengthening the trot strides. Under stop. Soften the go aids. While still riding forwards with your horse, think slow or stop. See the point on the arena ahead of you where you plan to slow or stop. Imagine the feel of having become slower or stopped. While remaining upright, feel heavier in your body. Vocalize "ooh". Featherweight pressure on the reins. An increased pressure on the reins. Stop the hands in line with an external point. For example, pick a letter on the arena, without the hands pulling backwards. Stop is involved in downward transitions between paces. For example, canter to trot, trot to walk, walk to halt. Or within paces. For example, lengthen trot to working trot. So, to revise. Neutral. The rider's aid starting at 0 going towards 10. A correct response from the horse. And assess the percentage try. Back to neutral. Without this understanding, it can be a slippery slope to the unfavourable aspects of the sport. Overuse of spurs and whips, rough riding and harsher bits. A half halt is subtle half halts help to maintain a regular rhythm. They also increase the engagement of the hindquarters, thus lightening the forehand, which is intimately linked with collection, and so rebalance the horse and improve the quality of the pace. They return the horse's mental attention to the rider and warn of any upcoming change. They are also performed before transitions, changing direction or changing exercises. The half halt is a much discussed technique, trainers having differing ideas on how it is best performed. Here we share what has been found useful when coaching students at this level. For beginners and for absolute clarity, go to make a downward transition, ideally by only dropping the rider's body weight, then almost make the downward transition, and then when the horse is just about to change gait, feel the last 3 or 4 strides, then actively ride on. Ensure that the stop aids are not used at the same time as the go aids. Ensure that the half halt is still forward in feel, not backwards. Eventually, with higher skill levels of horse and rider, this becomes a much quicker, more subtle aid. A slight drop in weight immediately followed by a lifting and holding feeling in the rider's core muscles, and a lifting, driving feel with the rider's body and legs, almost in the same moment, into a waiting contact. In the best half halts, the rider is not seen to be doing anything, while the horse engages, lifts and frees the forehand. Rhythm exercises. Know the correct footfalls for each pace and count the beat of the pace, either in your head or out loud. Count the number of strides from one fixed point to another. Repeat this a few times, it should be the same number of strides each time. Deliberately go too fast and then too slow, and then find a nice, even working pace in between the two. This can change from horse to horse and from day to day. Establish a good rhythm on the most simple figures: the large track, 20-metre circles, and the long diagonals. This is especially important if you've introduced more difficult work and the rhythm has suffered as a result. Then ensure a good rhythm is maintained through the more advanced work. Ride with music. Part of the art of riding dressage freestyle routines is finding music to suit your horse's paces. Ensure your horse has a good response from a light aid to both go and stop requests. This involves plenty of upward and downward transitions, both between and within each pace. Ensure the horse understands and is able to perform at least a basic half halt. Rhythm questions. Are my horse's footfalls regular and correct? Does my horse keep to a steady, regular drumbeat in walk, trot and canter, in both directions, through all figures and exercises? Does my horse tend to go too fast, too slow, or at a nice, calm, yet energetic tempo? Can I push my reins forwards without my horse speeding up? Can I stop using my legs without my horse slowing down? What percentage of time am I spending in neutral? At 3, at 5, 7, or 10? Does my horse feel as if on autopilot, going by themselves?